Hello, this is RHOBH, and I'm reviewing Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 13, Episode 2. And the episode opens with Dorit and Erica meeting outdoors for a picnic. And once again, Dorit opens up with, how she felt regarding Erica's joke. And then she said, she considers Erica a friend, but as far as her apology, it didn't feel real, considering she felt like she had to ask for it instead of it naturally coming from Erica. And she's allowed to feel that way, because do you not have any feelings or acknowledgement of what you've done regarding the marriage? Even whether or not things are going well in our marriage, why did you feel the need to say that? And while she acknowledged that what she did was wrong, once again, Erica makes another excuse, and that is that she didn't want to have to explain herself over again at the retreat. And that her joke just happened to pop into her mind. Excuse me, I gotta plug this in. And the joke just popped up into her head when she was answering the question at BravoCon. Once again, owing her joke to being a showman. How many more times is she going to bring this up? Just acknowledge what you did, apologize, and move on. And let it be a sincere apology. And once again, she does apologize and promises to make it up to Dorit, since apparently she says Dorit means a lot to her as a friend. Okay. And I guess it sounds sincere, and even Dorit, I'm getting a little ahead, and we'll just see if Erica has that same sentiment and the sincerity and decides to apologize to Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal for her nasty attitude towards them, which remains to be seen, by the way. I mean, sure, they're not really her friends, but, they're still owed an apology anyway, I think. But I'm kind of surprised that but then again, I'm not surprised, because, Dorit, Renna, when she was on the show, and Kyle considered themselves the Fox Force 5, so of course they're going to always have each other's backs, and they get along with each other better than they get along with the other ladies. But anyways, Dorit responds in her confessional, "Wow, where was this Erica at the retreat?" And you got a point, Dorit. I got to give it to you for that, because why wasn't she the sincere at the retreat? Why did she have to make excuse after excuse after excuse? Just admit what you did and say you're sorry and be sincere about it. And again, I'm glad Dorit had the courage to say this, and I didn't address this in my last episode review, but Dorit could have had the same gall to be this straight up with her during seasons 11 and 12. When Erica was getting questions about what she knew about the allegations and the lawsuits, and when Erica went off on Garcelle's son, telling him to get the F out of here. She said at the reunion that she talked to her about it, but we didn't see any evidence of it. She could have done that while on camera instead of laughing along with her husband, Mauricio, and Kyle about it. Just saying. I'm just saying. So after that, they move on to the next scene regarding Dorit going for a drive with Kyle. And it is there that she talks about PK to her. She confesses that they had a difficult year, or maybe she had a difficult year dealing with PK being away in London a lot. And from that, she felt unprotected and unsupported from his absence. She felt like she really needed him, and she felt there was this disconnect with him. And of course, that's wearing a lot on her. And this would definitely help to explain why Erica's tired joke cutting into her. Like it must have struck something with her since there's like some sort of problem in their marriage. So that would help to explain it. Of course, even if Erica knew, like I said, even if Erica knew they were in a rough spot, it was still done in poor taste. And she should know better than to do that, because had it been because she didn't like people talking about her marriage, or even talking about her grown son who's a police officer, like remember when she went off on Eileen once on season 7, like, you don't know what I go through every night. Like, they can't even say something about your son, but you make a careless joke about your friend's marriage. Like, what kind of friend is that? And yeah, Erica should have apologized for that. And okay, I'm going off base here. And Dory also talks about how she's still suffering from PTSD from the home invasion like a year or so ago. So I guess that also helps with why she feels unprotected, because she's still like suffering from that. And yeah, I'll probably go more into it later about, like the specific problems within the marriage, and how like PK is setting up like this surprise anniversary get together with Dorit. But in the next scene, Garcelle and Sutton are planning a Vegas birthday celebration for Crystal, which was very nice of them to do. And Crystal's turning 40, so another milestone birthday. And Sutton acknowledges the challenging bumps in the road with Crystal from the last season, and is hoping to start fresh now, which was kind of confusing because it was just that one thing where Crystal said that Sutton said something dark, and then they got over it, and that was it. I mean, it's not like when season her choice in fashion, like she doesn't wear revealing clothing, she prefers like, say, like a kitten. Remember that sweater of the kitten under blue sweater that she wore? And at the reunion, Kyle wondered why she would wear something like that to a date. And another thing that kind of like doesn't get her to the second date phase is, and per her words, she says she could be slightly intimidating, and that her intellect is superior to most. Her words, not mine. Part of why Sutton acts the way she does, and considering she was raised. I mean, because I think no matter where you are, like if you're raised a certain way, you've gone through some changes, certain habits die hard. Like they don't change. Like it's engraved within you. And then that's just what Sutton's dealing with, and that's just how I guess that's just how she is. And when the and she said like that's just not my jam. So, and that's fine. Some women move like that. And she has no power whatsoever. And my personal thing about it is, if you and that guy is, and you consider that man worthy enough to marry and to share a home and a family with and to build with, then I see nothing wrong with letting a man lead. And you're going to have to trust the man to know that he's leading the right way, especially if you feel that the man is worthy. That's just how I feel personally. I mean, I'm not saying that to say like let a man control what you wear, what you do, or let him beat you around like that. That's not what that's meant. And if you're lucky, you can find a man that's willing to lead, but let you have your own thing financially too. So, I mean, it just depends on what you're willing to accept or not in your relationship. And Sutton, in her case, she's used to being independent on certain levels and not being controlled. And I guess that comes from when she got divorced, like the way she got divorced. It's like she already went through a period where she felt like she had to give up her power. And she did not want to go back to that again. So, however, if it means listening, if it means getting past the second date, she's willing to listen to her matchmaker, Alessandra. So she's going to try to be open, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, because I understand there's certain things that are not negotiable when it comes to dating. So, yeah, we'll see. In the next scene, Crystal meets with her brother Jeff and with her husband for lunch. I assume that's for lunch because it's not really dark out. Crystal gives us some insight of her connection and relationship with her brother. She says that even though she's the younger sibling, she's more mature and responsible, while Jeff is more of the free spirit. He is a pop star, like a well-known pop star in China. According to Crystal, he's like the Justin Bieber of China. And before he moved back to the U.S., he was engaged to a woman while he was in China. And when the pandemic happened, Crystal and their mother begged for him to come back home because they couldn't bear to be separated from him during the pandemic, and they don't know if he's okay or if he's going to make it through. And he could have come home, except the problem is his ex-fiance had a Chinese passport, and she couldn't go. She couldn't leave. And that would explain why the engagement is off, and he is now single again. And Crystal feels that Jeff blames her for why the engagement is off. But it seems like Jeff is another person besides Sutton who wants to hire a matchmaker to help him find that special one. And I think Yeah, he did say that he wanted to find that one that he could marry and be happy with. And he asked Crystal how she feels about, like, because he's 2 years older than Crystal. Like, Crystal is 40. Jeff was 2 years older than her, so that makes him 42, I believe. 41, 42. And Jeff asked Crystal how she feels about bringing a 20-something woman to meet her, if he should find someone around that age. And he asked her that because Crystal was around that same age when she met Rob, who was 40-something when they met. And Crystal was like kind of like surprised. It's like, oh, like deja vu. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And like Crystal said that, and Crystal acknowledges that women like her, who are domesticated and found someone 20 years their senior, is like a rare find and rare breed. So I don't know. I mean, if Jeff happens to find somebody 20 years his junior and he's happy with her, then all best of luck to him, and I hope he finds that one. I mean, but considering I don't know too much about the dating scene, but I hear that it's pretty tricky and ugly, so good luck finding someone like Crystal around that age, when Crystal was 20-something. Okay, and let's see, what did I miss? Wait. How far? Okay, here we go. Okay, and we go back to the scene where Kyle helps PK set up the scene for the surprise anniversary party or anniversary dinner between PK and Dorit. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, thinking about now, like the reports of them separating or possibly getting divorced, and seeing this scene, it's like, is this done in vain, or? But then again, I don't know what's going on with them, so. And then I don't know if it was during the car ride or when Dorit was in the room or somewhere, that she brings up to Kyle that, okay, maybe this was in the car when Dorit brings up to Kyle that something is very much off in Kyle's marriage to Mauricio per her words at the retreats, and what Dorit has noticed, and also Dorit's marriage, I don't know if it was some months or maybe a year ago, that Kyle and Mauricio have not acted like a couple for some time now, and it's not lost upon her that she and PK don't have dinner, get together with Kyle and Mauricio anymore like they used to because of that. And Kyle admits it's because Mauricio has been very stressed out to his own work schedule. I mean, certain things can get in the way in a marriage, and there's like always tests or whatnot thrown at marriage couples to see if they can get through it and pass the test. And Kyle admits to Dorit that she wants some space and freedom to do what she wants to do, because Dorit noticed, like in some, I don't know if it was Dorit or somebody that noticed in some of the photos on Kyle's Instagram that she's not wearing her wedding ring, but like, just because they're not wearing her wedding ring doesn't always mean that there's something amiss. But what do we know? We're on the outside looking in. Kyle knows what's going on with her marriage or what's amiss better than anybody. So I guess it's not our business anyway. Let's see. And then after that, like when Kyle realizes that Dorit is getting a little too close to comfort and asking too many questions, she just shuts it down, like, hey, I don't want to talk about it. And that should have been the answer to Dorit's questions, or wonders of whether she should respect boundaries and not ask her any more questions regarding that. Because she said she acknowledges she needs to respect Kyle's boundaries, but can't help wondering what's going on with Kyle and Mauricio because she senses something's up. But see, that's the thing, Dorit. It's not your business. It's not your business what's going on. I know you're concerned and all that, but this is between Kyle and Mauricio. Don't push it. Don't get any closer where you don't need to be. So when Kyle says that she doesn't want to talk about it, bam, that's it. There's your answer. Drop it and move on. Like, let them worry about it. And I just want to mention that there have been some rumors for some time now that Dorit and Mauricio's got a little something going on the side. But so we don't know what's going on with that. And like PK threw a little shade at Mauricio regarding like with the anniversary dinner. It's like, like maybe like Maurice doesn't do something like this for Kyle. It's like, okay, not sure what's going on with that, but maybe it's due to the rumors or something. Like, do Dorit and Mauricio have a little something going on and he senses something? We don't know. Let's see. Okay. In the next scene, Garcelle arrives at Sutton's home and she asks her how it went with the matchmaker. Sutton answers that it was fun and she might have been a little too hard on Alessandra regarding the subject of letting the man lead. And again, I addressed this already, but like it came from her ex-husband, so it came from like her experiences from being married. And apparently her ex-husband told her that he did not want her to work and she felt like she was giving up power or control over her life and herself. And ever since her divorce, she worked on taking her power back or taking her life back, which is fair. That's understandable why she would not want to go back to that or find a man that's not willing to tell her what to do. But if she feels that strongly about it, then maybe she maybe find some man that's willing to accommodate her financial independence or just stay single. I mean, I was watching Candy Washington's live recap, and she made a good point regarding Sutton feeling like she's not worthy enough, and she had to prove to her ex-husband that she can make it on her own financially and she can be independent when she doesn't need to do that. And yeah, it's really not necessary. Like, she's already financially set. Her kids are grown and she's doing just fine. So what's there to prove? And if she feels that strongly about letting a man control her, then maybe it's best that she doesn't date at all. Like, just stay single. If you're doing just fine. And then Garcelle confesses to Sutton about what Jack said about her not being there when he needs her, and he's at a point where he might not need her anymore and wants to go move in with his father instead. And I can't say that I understand fully, but I probably would feel just as stung if I was divorced and my kid wanted to live with his father. I probably would feel just as hurt. But Garcelle can only do what she can do. I mean, she's a working mother, and she's doing what she can to make sure that her babies are well provided for, making sure they're well fed, well clothed. They're at the school that they're at. So there's only so much that you can ask of a mother. Yeah. And Sutton states her theory of why she and Garcelle are such good friends, and it's that they relate to each other well regarding being divorced, being working mothers, and what else was there? Well, yeah, I guess being single mothers, being divorced, yet their ex-husbands are still involved in their lives. like Garcelle co-parenting with her husband, for instance. Let's see. And we come to Kyle and Mauricio setting up for Portia's 15th birthday party. And I have to say this scene was quite a mess. Because first of all, once again, the issue of Kyle and Mauricio's different schedules have come up, and they're not seeing much of each other. Can there be any more cracks in this? And while the birthday party is coming up, Kyle's mother-in-law doesn't help anything, because she pulls her aside. Well, she approaches her and tells her that she heard mentionings of possible trouble in paradise between Kyle and Mauricio. Oh. And the mentioning of tattoos. Definitely bad timing. And she tells her mother-in-law that she did get some tattoos, and she was afraid of how the mother-in-law will react. But the mother-in-law says that she's not bothered by it. And she also knows that some of her daughters also have tattoos, which doesn't bother her either. It's like, okay, now, you guys, if anyone watches this, you guys can look at the expression on her face and see if her expression says different from what her words are, from what comes out of her mouth. And see if you think that she's really unbothered by this. And then Kyle had the nerve to bring up the fact that, the mother-in-law wonders if Kyle got a tattoo from Mauricio. And then Kyle asked the mother-in-law if she knows that Mauricio also has one. Okay, number one, Kyle, that has nothing to do with her question to you. And second of all, why are you bringing up Mauricio's personal business? If Mauricio had a tattoo, don't you think it's up to Mauricio to tell his own mother about it himself, don't you think it should come from him instead of you? That was just that very much reeks of passive aggressiveness. And of course, Mauricio wasn't happy about it when he caught wind of what she said to her. And that's when Kyle realized too little too late that she could have kept it to herself. But again, that's part of the whole problems in their marriage. If the mother-in-law wasn't in doubt before, she probably is now if she watched this episode. And when Kyle spoke to her daughters about it, one of the daughters asked her if she actually admitted to the mother-in-law that Mauricio has a tattoo. Kyle said she alluded to that and she was just joking about that, but the producer ran that tape back and she indeed said that Mauricio did get a tattoo. So it's not only are you putting his business out there, you're lying about saying it. It's Kyle, what's wrong with you? And why are you doing this at a child's birthday party? And this is just like in season 10, was it, when Teddy had her baby shower and she asked her own guests that they're free to leave just so she can bring up the whole thing about Brandy and Denise. Very inappropriate. So I don't know what is with some of these ladies and bringing up certain things at the wrong time. That's not cool. Okay, next scene. Ladies are preparing to fly to Vegas. And I'm not too... That cat print see-through dress that Sutton was showing that she was thinking about bringing to Vegas with her. Well, even her assistant had said, you could catch I don't want you catching a cold in that. And I don't know, she seemed like she has this sort of thing for cat prints on clothes. Anybody else notice that? I mean, amongst like the other questionable fashion choices that she has presented the whole time she's been on this show. And I have to say, like they board the plane, and they went ahead and gave Crystal her present now, which was like a really nice necklace. And I have to say that was really nice of her. That was really nice of them to do that for her. And then Erica, like once they get there, Erica said that they arranged for Crystal to go to Magic Mike for her 40th, just to loosen her up. Like to loosen her up, and because Crystal has this certain way about her where she's like really reserved and conservative, and then she just needs to let loose. Their opinion, personally, I don't care. And let's see. And while on the plane, Erica admits that she was giving up fighting the ladies for Lent. She should do one better and just give up fighting for good. Just retire fighting, period. Because the way she acted in seasons 11 and 12, disastrous. So do one better and just give up fighting forever, or just get off the show and find somebody else to fight with. Because we don't need to see that again. And she says she's giving it up, but she said she was giving up for Lent, so I guess it's better than nothing. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, and on the way there, and do my eyes deceive me, or are Erica and Sutton laughing and connecting with each other more? Have they actually turned over a new leaf? And in the other car, I think Garcelle asked if Dorit bought glam this time around, and Dorit said no, and Garcelle was really surprised. And that goes back to the whole, when Dorit and Kyle were fighting about Dorit dressing up glam for Denise's pizza party. And when Garcelle, I think in another season, brought up the whole, I don't know, something about glam. But anyways, they get to their rooms and they're psyched over it. And then some 4 hours later, and then the final scene, like we find that they're talking about, what they're going to do when they go to see Magic Mike. And Sutton seemed to be psyched about it, like finding a guy. And then we get a scene that says 4 hours later, and something pops off. And it ain't just the men doing their thing either. And from what I've seen, it just looks like Sutton is storming off, and she's not impressed with what she's seen on stage. And Sutton calling Sutton calling Kyle or somebody a bitch. It's just pretty much a mess all around, and we won't find out what happens until next week. But what's now? I'm very curious as to what's going on there. Like, what made Sutton go off the way she did? Oh well, that's my recap for this. Thanks for listening. And if you feel like leaving a comment, go right ahead. Bye.